check-in desk. When I arrived at the check-in desk, they warned me not to be late because they said that there were only 4 passengers on the flight. Well, this turned out to be a gross exaggeration because I kept checking on the board and checking my departure gate, and I would go over there, and I went at the right time, and there was no one there at all, and it was in a quiet part of the airport, and I was starting to worry. But eventually, they showed up, and it seemed I was the only passenger on the flight.
You were the only one, and how big or small a plane was this?
It's a 737.
Right, so a big commercial airliner that could seat, I guess, hundreds of people?
Yeah, I don't know the exact capacity, but certainly well in excess of 100 passengers.
Did you have an allocated seat?
I did, and I could see anywhere I wanted.
And presumably the service was pretty good. You must have been well looked after.
Yes, they were. They took it all in good humour. All passenger announcements were addressed to me personally.
Oh, go on, give us an example. What did they say then?
And last time I'm going to experience that. So, yes, and they were very attentive to me. So,
how did those announcements go? Was it sort of bing bong, hello, Mr. Short, that sort of stuff?
It always began with Mr. Short, and then they would say whatever they had to say. So.
How long was this flight?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. It's not such a long flight. I mean, I've always wanted to visit the Victoria Falls, one of the great natural wonders of the world, and whilst I was in Johannesburg, it seemed like a good opportunity to do that. So, it was a brief vacation for me. It
sounds like one of those great natural wonders of the world, though, was rather overtaken by the oddity of your journey there. Well,
it was a very strange experience. I'm very well travelled. I've been to well over 100 countries, and I just sort of fly all the time. And sometimes I've been on flights which have been reasonably empty, but I think it's the first time I've experienced this, and it was bizarre, really quite bizarre.
How many crew were on the plane? So how many people were looking after you?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I'm not sure, actually. There was some other guy who was sitting in first class. There were at least a couple of stewardesses, I think 3 of them.
Hang on, you say there was somebody else sitting in first class, a number of staff, so they didn't give you an upgrade then?
No, well, I didn't get an upgrade, unfortunately. I was flying economy. And, no, he was one of the staff and sitting there, so I don't know exactly what his function was.
So there was you thinking how the other half lived, except there wasn't another half. There was no one actually through that curse.
You did, in effect, have a private jet, didn't you, Nigel? So I suppose going first class might be a bit greedy. I'm thinking that we should dedicate the rest of the programme to Nigel. We're going to ask the newsreader who's just come in if she will read the BBC News for Nigel Short, because we think that's such a nice sort of bespoke idea. And Nigel, you'll probably get a bit of a taste for this, having flown in your own plane. Nigel Short, chess grandmaster, many thanks indeed. This is Newsday. Nigel Day, News Nigel, something. Anyway, BBC World Service for Nigel.